Movie camera, hook. Narrator's voice, urgent, emotional tone. Greater than, he was trembling under the cold rain, sitting beside a wrecked car with a broken wheelchair, his designer suit drenched in mud. People passed by, whispering, no one helped. Until a rough-handed mechanic stopped his truck and heard him whisper, "Please, don't hurt me. I can't walk." But what the mechanic didn't know was that the man he was helping was one of the richest CEOs in the state, and his act of kindness would change both their lives forever. Pause. Narrator softens tone. Greater than, before we dive in, if stories of kindness and humanity touch your heart, hit that like button and subscribe to EchoTales USA Stories for more real-life inspired stories that'll move your soul. Heart. The story begins. The storm had rolled over the city like a dark curtain, swallowing every trace of sunlight. On the edge of a lonely highway, a black sedan sat crooked on the shoulder, its right front wheel twisted, rim biting the asphalt. Beside it, in a mud-splattered wheelchair, was Daniel Hayes, a man who once commanded boardrooms and TV interviews. Now, his hands trembled, clutching the arms of the chair, his once pristine white shirt clinging to his skin. No one would have recognized him like this, not the Daniel Hayes, CEO of Hayes Tech Industries, a name that made headlines for innovation and luxury. Once, he had a mansion that overlooked the city, a personal driver, and a world that bowed when he spoke. But that night, there was no security, no driver. Only silence, rain, and pain. The crash hadn't been fatal, but it had trapped him. His legs, paralyzed from an old accident, couldn't move. The wheelchair was half broken from the impact. His phone was dead. He tried to wave at passing cars, but they zoomed by, headlights slicing through rain like cold indifference. Then came the sound, a rumbling old truck, slowing down, tires crunching gravel. Out stepped a tall man wearing a greasy jacket and holding a wrench. His name was Jack Turner, a single father, mechanic, and war veteran who worked at a small roadside garage nearby. His hands were calloused, his boots muddy, and his eyes tired from years of hard labor. He saw the wreck, the wheelchair, the broken man beside it. Jack approached slowly. "You okay, sir?" Daniel flinched. He was soaked, scared, and desperate. "Please, don't hurt me. I can't walk." Jack froze. Hurt him. The words pierced deeper than the rain. Hey, easy," he said, kneeling beside Daniel. "I ain't here to hurt you. I'm here to help." He pulled a tarp from his truck and covered Daniel's shoulders, his voice gentle but steady. "You're freezing, man. Let's get you out of this rain." Daniel's eyes darted between Jack's oil-stained hands and his own trembling ones. He was used to board meetings, not this, being helped by a stranger who smelled of gasoline and rain. Jack looked at the car. Wheels bent bad, frames cracked. "But first things first, you warm enough to talk?" Daniel nodded weakly. "My name's Daniel Hayes." Jack chuckled softly, tightening the tarp. "Well, Daniel Hayes, you just met the best part-time roadside mechanic in this town. Let's see what we can do. A meeting of two worlds." Jack loaded the broken wheelchair into his truck, carefully helping Daniel up. His strength was surprising, gentle, controlled. Inside the truck, the heater roared to life. For the first time in hours, Daniel exhaled. He studied Jack. Grease-streaked face, cracked nails, a small photograph of a little girl taped to the dashboard. "She your daughter?" Daniel asked. Jack smiled faintly. "Yeah, Mia, 7 years old, smartest thing I ever made." Daniel looked away, guilt shadowing his expression. "I used to have everything, you know. People, money, luxury. But none of them would have stopped for me tonight." Jack didn't reply right away. "Maybe that's the problem," he said softly. "You don't know who's real till the lights go out." The words hung heavy in the air. Daniel's chest tightened, not from cold, but from something he hadn't felt in years, humility. They reached Jack's small garage, a rundown shack lit by a single buzzing bulb. Jack parked and jumped out. "Let's get you dry. You can sit in the office, it's warm inside." Daniel watched him work, sleeves rolled up, movements efficient, unbothered by oil stains or rust. He fixed the wheelchair first, piece by piece, welding and adjusting with quiet focus. Daniel found himself asking, "You do this alone?" "Yeah," Jack said without looking up. "Been alone for a while now. Wife passed when Mia was 3. She's all I got." Daniel's eyes softened. "I'm sorry." Jack shrugged. "Don't be. Life hits hard, but I hit harder." For the first time that night, Daniel smiled. It felt foreign. A glimpse beneath the surface. Hours later, Jack handed Daniel a steaming mug of coffee. Ain't no fancy stuff, but it'll keep you alive. Daniel took a sip, feeling warmth spread through him. He glanced at Jack's hands again, rough, cracked, real. You remind me of my father, he said quietly. He was a mechanic too. Worked until his hands gave out. I ran away from that life, thought I'd never touch oil or tools again. Thought I was better. Jack leaned back, crossing his arms. And now, Daniel exhaled, now, I just wish I'd said thank you before he died. Silence filled the garage. Rain drummed against the roof like a heartbeat. Jack finally said, funny thing, huh? Sometimes life makes you crawl through the mud just to remind you what clean really means. Daniel looked up. The line struck him deep. Jack's kindness wasn't just fixing metal, it was fixing something inside Daniel too. Dash dash dash. A storm clears. Morning crept in, soft and golden. Jack had fixed Daniel's car through the night. When Daniel woke, the wheelchair stood sturdy again, wheels polished, frame reinforced. Jack stretched his sore back. She's good to go. You can make it home safe. Daniel looked at the car, then at Jack. You stayed up all night for a stranger. Jack smiled. Ain't every day a guy in a fancy suit crashes outside my shop. Besides, you looked like you needed help more than sleep. Daniel reached into his jacket. How much do I owe you? Jack waved him off. Forget it. You've been through enough. Just promise me one thing. Don't lose that look you got right now. That look that says you remember what it feels like to be human. Daniel's throat tightened. I won't. He hesitated, then handed Jack his business card. If you ever need anything, call me. Jack pocketed it without reading. All right, Mr. CEO. As Daniel drove away, the rising sun caught the gleam of the garage sign. Turner's Auto Works, where every broken thing deserves a second chance. He smiled. Because maybe, just maybe, that night, it wasn't just the car or the wheelchair that got repaired. It was his heart. 3 days later, under the golden wash of morning sunlight, Daniel Hayes sat in his office, the corner one, all glass and sky views. His assistant placed a stack of documents before him, but Daniel wasn't looking at them. His gaze lingered on a small, grease-stained business card resting beside his phone. Turner's Auto Works, where every broken thing deserves a second chance. He'd been thinking about that phrase since the night of the storm. Every word of it echoed through him, because Daniel had been broken too. He turned to his assistant. Cancel my next meeting. I'm stepping out. The assistant blinked. Sir, you have a call with the investors. Reschedule it, Daniel said simply, grabbing his coat. There's something more important. Dash dash dash. The visit. Jack Turner was under a car hood when he heard the low purr of an engine outside. He wiped his hands with a rag, expecting a regular customer, but when he stepped out, his jaw dropped. A sleek black Bentley rolled to a stop on the gravel, its paint glinting like onyx under the morning sun. Out stepped Daniel, now in a tailored gray suit, confident, clean-shaven, but with a different light in his eyes. Morning, Jack, Daniel said with a smile. Jack blinked. You again, man, I didn't expect the CEO to show up in my junkyard twice. Daniel laughed, shaking his head. It's not a junkyard, it's a workshop. A place of miracles. Jack smirked. That's one way to sell it. Daniel looked around, the cracked walls, the old posters, the lonely workbench. You've built all this alone. Every bolt of it, Jack replied proudly. Mia helps when she's not in school. She says the garage smells like hard work. Daniel smiled. She sounds wise beyond her years. Jack shrugged. She's got her mama's brains. Thank God for that. There was a pause. Daniel finally said, Jack, I owe you more than a thank you. You helped me when I was helpless. No one else did. Jack waved it off. You don't owe me anything, man. I just did what any decent person should do. Daniel's voice softened. Maybe, but decency's rare these days. He reached into his briefcase and pulled out a document. I want to invest in this place, rebuild it, expand it. Turner's Auto Works deserves to be more than a shack. Jack's hands froze. Wait, what? Dash dash dash. The offer. Daniel slid the papers onto the workbench. A full investment, new equipment, staff, safety upgrades. You'll stay owner and chief mechanic. I just want to help you build what you deserve. Jack stepped back, eyes narrowing. You're serious, dead serious. Jack frowned. Look, I appreciate the gesture, but I'm not some charity case. I don't take handouts. Daniel smiled gently. Neither do I. That's why this isn't a handout, it's a partnership. He paused. You once told me, every broken thing deserves a second chance. Well, this is yours. And mine. Jack studied him, the sincerity in his voice, the quiet resolve in his eyes. Then he sighed. You really don't quit, huh? Daniel chuckled. CEOs rarely do. Jack hesitated for a long moment, then finally reached out his hand. All right, partner. But don't expect me to start wearing suits. Daniel grinned, shaking his hand firmly. Deal. 2 worlds rebuilt. Weeks passed. The old garage slowly transformed. New walls, polished floors, modern tools, and a new sign, still with the same slogan. Where every broken thing deserves a second chance. Daniel came often, not as a boss, but as a friend. Sometimes he brought spare parts, sometimes coffee, sometimes just conversation. Mia adored him. She'd run to him shouting, Mr. Daniel, every time his car pulled in. Daniel would laugh, handing her little mechanical puzzles. If you can fix this, you'll own my company. Someday. Jack would roll his eyes. Don't give her ideas. She'll hold you to that. One afternoon, Daniel watched as Jack taught Mia to change a tire. The way Jack smiled, patient and proud, made something inside Daniel ache. He whispered, You're a good father, Jack. Jack looked at him, trying to be. Daniel's eyes softened. I never had kids. Maybe that's why I threw myself into business, trying to fill a hole that can't be filled with money. Jack nodded. Yeah, money's a lousy bandage for an empty heart. They shared a quiet laugh. But beneath that laughter, Daniel's heart stirred with an idea, one that would soon change both their lives again. The secret plan. A month later, Jack woke up to a line of trucks pulling up outside his garage. Each one carried new machines, chrome signs, banners. Confused, he ran out, and found Daniel standing there, smiling. What's going on? Jack asked. Daniel held up an envelope. Welcome to the grand opening of Turner & Hayes Engineering Center, a joint venture. I filed the papers last week. You're now the co-owner of a regional automotive innovation firm. Jack froze. Wait, you made me a business owner. A partner. Daniel nodded. You earned it. You have the skill, the heart, and the story people need to hear. Jack was speechless. I don't even know what to say. Then just keep doing what you do, Daniel said softly. Keep fixing what's broken, people included. Mia ran out and hugged Daniel's leg. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. Daddy's happy now. Daniel knelt down, tears in his eyes. You know, Mia, your daddy made me happy too. The twist. As the months passed, Turner & Hayes Engineering grew faster than anyone expected. Their business model, affordable repair, local hiring, second chances for ex-workers and veterans, caught the media's attention. Reporters came, cameras flashed, interviews aired. When a journalist asked Daniel, why invest in a small-town mechanic? He smiled and said, because that mechanic reminded me what leadership really means. It's not about who you command, it's about who you serve. Jack stood beside him, wiping his hands with his signature grease-stained rag, whispering, You sure you're a CEO? 'Cause that sounded too real. Daniel laughed. Maybe I just have a better teacher now. A circle completed. One night, after the ribbon-cutting ceremony, Daniel and Jack sat outside the garage, watching the sunset over the highway where they first met. The same road, the same wind, but everything had changed. Daniel turned to Jack. You know, when I said, please, don't hurt me, I wasn't just scared of being attacked. I was scared of being seen, broken, vulnerable. You changed that. Jack looked at him. And you changed what I believed about people in suits. Guess we both learned something. They shared a quiet laugh, the kind that comes from two souls who've walked through storms and found light on the other side. The rain that once drenched them now felt like a memory, a chapter closed but never forgotten. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to EchoTales USA Stories, and share it so the message of compassion reaches someone who needs it today. Heart.